I'm at the spot. I'm at the meeting spot. Myrtle Wyckoff. I'm in Brooklyn, Bushwick, Ridgewood. I'm here. I've been standing here for 20 minutes. I'm done playing these games with you guys, you wackos. You don't even know how it's done. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. No. Yeah, I got away from them. They're gone. It's a black BMW. Yeah. Financial district. Black BMW. Plate EEZ. C1, I missed a digit. It's a Japanese guy in the front, I think. Korean, Vietnamese, or maybe Mongolian.
Did you watch that Cat Williams interview everybody's talking about?
I watched the Steve Harvey thing. Like 5 people sent me the Steve Harvey part. I watched bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Is that the other dude? Is that Shannon Sharp?
Yeah.
It's
Football
him and
player.
Ocho do the little thing.
That's separate. But yeah, this is
Yeah.
Shannon Sharp. I mean, yeah, now he's just like a full-time like podcast.
He's
like,
good at
ESPN guy. I mean, he's just like he's a very like, let the guy talk kind of thing.
Yeah, from what I've seen, I'm like, I don't know, 2 people could be homeless. Maybe Steve Harvey was homeless.
Oh, no, yeah, I think a lot of that stuff, I'm not sure how much I believe, but there was a part where Cat Williams was talking about Michael Blackson.
I didn't see
that guy, the African dude?
Does he have a white wife? Is that what he was saying?
No. He was just saying that, like, back in the day, Michael Blackson, when he first met Cat Williams, he was wearing just, like, real bummy-looking clothes. And Cat Williams told him, like, no, you got to dress for, like, how you want to be, how you want to be seen. So now Michael Blackson wears all this, like, shiny-ass, like, silk clothes and stuff.
Mother sucker.
Yeah, exactly. But now it's, like, his whole brand is being, like, a real, like, flashy-looking dude.
Right.
And it helps. People
gotta
respect
be that guy.
People don't respect you when you look like shit.
Look at me.
If there's one thing we've learned from years in comedy, people do not respect us.
People used to say you dressed like a dog walker, and I'd be like, how'd you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's who you are.
Yeah. I do walk dogs.
Yeah.
Yep. Dude, my plan. I'm going to get in shape, losing 40 pounds. 2024 is going to be huge. I'm going to get on the podcast scene, jumping on people's pods, getting in shape. Do you think Ralph Lauren, like Polo, is that the poor clothes for rich people?
Yeah, I mean, that would have worked like in the 90s.
That's not people.
That's not anymore. No. I mean, nobody was going to, I mean, like that, especially like the big-ass horse thing.
I was thinking about telling people I'm a part-time lawyer and see what happens.
Nah.
You don't think that would help at all?
No one's going to hire you to be a lawyer.
No, I'm just going to tell them I'm a lawyer, but I'm going to do it.
No, but no one's going to believe that. That's just a completely,
It's another job that, what about like engineer? What do you think I could lie and make it sound like I'm doing?
No, you tell people you're a boxer.
Oh, yeah.
You tell people I fight.
Yeah.
And you start wearing a leather jacket.
I like that.
Yeah, I got that Rocky bouncing ball thing.
Because I got to get the respect right away.
Well, just walk in. No, people, if you walk into a room and tell people I box Golden Gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I fought 10 men.
And you see, I got the fast jab.
Yeah, you start giving them your record and stuff and just
Tell them and you can never remember the fighter's name. There was a guy, but he ended up being second best. I can't remember his name.
Well, you just like, anytime you meet a guy who's like, he was in Mexico, he's like, man, I fought a Mexican one time.
Right.
Tough people.
We used to drive down from Vegas. We go over to Mexico.
Those guys are tough, man. Oh, you're Polish?
Yeah.
Those guys, right hooks for days.
Polish people can take a punch.
Yeah. That's how you get respect.
Yeah, maybe I should start doing that.
Boxing is coming back too.
Yeah, it is.
I used to think boxing was dead with MMA, but no. People, I mean, this is still the move.
I knew boxing would never die because it's extremely exciting. I know people say MMA, but in my opinion, MMA is not that exciting very long. You could see boxers bang it out for 11 rounds excitement. MMA, there's some rolling around, some grappling.
Yeah.
And
with boxing, it's like, that's why they say boxing is more dangerous than MMA, is you can't just get clocked and go down on your back. And you still get 8 seconds to get up. Right. Whereas in UFC, it's like, no, the fight's over.
Right.
They would just stop the fight. But it's like, no, you can't just keep getting rocked.
You get your heart tested. Yeah. Bro, I was just watching some Holyfield. That dude could deliver. There's some. You ever see, there was a Tommy Hearns and I can't remember if it was Tommy Hearns and who, but dude, they were banging.
Yeah.
Hearns was a
Gotti
banger.
Ward.
Yeah.
When it was just those kinds of fights where it's just like any one punch looks like it would just take a guy out.
And Gotti would puff up, remember?
Yeah.
He would swell up.
Yeah, Holyfield. I mean, Holyfield and like George Foreman.
Oh, that was
where it's just you're watching just god level punches. Yeah, and it's just like There's very few moments in boxing, real boxing. You get like 20-second spurts where it's like a movie,
right?
And then it goes back to being more of a sport, technical stuff, and clinches and everything. But Now, there's a couple moments in those 80s fights where it's just you're watching
I love boxing, love the sport, love it all. It's a great, and like at a gym, I know you do the thing here. I bet you'd like to go to a boxing gym. I could see
we've been
you
talking
too.
about this forever. Yeah.
But I could see you down there, get some Chinese tattoos.
I would love it.
Yeah.
I mean, just, yeah.
You got to get 3 letters on your neck.
Well, I
Some
love all
Japanese
like,
shit.
I love watching, you watch Rocky, they do the training montage.
Right.
And there's just so many cool ways you can train in boxing. When they have the thing with the rope.
Yeah.
Where you're going under the rope and you're like coming up. That shit looks.
I wonder if that works though.
That shit. I don't know what. I don't know what any of this stuff works. That shit looks tight though. I mean that and the speed bag.
You know what I like? There was, I don't know if it was Mr. T, Clubber Lang, but when he was doing pull-ups off of rags on a pipe.
Yeah.
Ugh. Dude, I was running track when I got big into Rocky 3, and my coach would be like, "Stop going, ugh, what's that noise?"
But most other sports don't have all these like little fun side missions you do. With
Football.
Well, no, but like the jump rope stuff.
Right.
But boxers really have like a whole, like it's like a point of pride.
Yeah.
If you can do certain weird tricks on the jump rope. Side,
Crisscross.
flip. Yeah. And then you're doing like a little like, you're working on your footwork.
Oh, yeah, in the mirror. Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
It's like the Muhammad Ali shuffle.
Yeah, all cut up and shined up.
Yeah.
That used to be my thing, dude. I used to love working on the footwork.
Yeah, well, it's like, because it's almost, I mean, like, there's only so much you can do with a heavy bag and actually throwing punches. But it's like, no, I got all day. I'm going to work on today I'm just going to be like tap dancing and shit.
From all my experience fighting, a big thing that I seen helped a lot of people is when you can't expect what they're going to do next. Like, what's that word? Predictable?
Yeah.
We had this dude, Carlton, and he was just, dude, he'd go, wah! And he'd come out, dude, he didn't even know what he was going to throw. He'd hit you with punches from different angles. Bro, you'd be like, you couldn't fight him. He was like 14 years old.
Unconventional.
I was 18, just nuts. He'd go nuts. Feet everywhere, just never get tired. And, whipped everybody's ass.
See, that's the thing, though, is that in comedy, these type of dudes that are around, there's nobody who's even close to that.
Oh, yeah,
That kind of energy, if you walk in like that.
Right.
And you really I think people can it's the kind of thing people really they can feel it on you.
There was one guy, but he's on the run for them cops. But he was kind of like that.
He was, but he wasn't like a, actual like athlete.
No, he just brought a pistol everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like an aggro dude.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
But
should I start bringing a gun to the comedy clubs, you think?
No, but if you walk in like wife beater, you're still wiping your forehead with like a towel. You got to start carrying a towel, keeping it around on your shoulder.
Get a couple of black eyes.
Yeah. But just carrying a towel around, it's like when you see like a black comic go on stage.
Yeah.
And he walks on the stage with the towel already.
Oh, yeah.
It's like he's not sweating yet, but it's like, the sweat's going to come.
Bro, that is some shit. Who raised you?
Yeah. Well, what's funny is that usually you would think the towel would be like on the stool.
Yeah.
Or maybe you pull it out later on, but it's like, no, I'm coming here to sweat.
Yep.
I'm going to start sweating later. And I got to be ready for it.
You're right, dude. I got to start bringing a white towel around to the open mics.
Yeah, well, the white towel on your shoulder and you're bouncing a ball, chewing gum.
I always felt like if I had a car, too. I remember the people that would pull up in a car. It's next level shit.
Yeah.
At the open mic. Imagine you show up to the open mic, you got a car.
Yeah, especially like a muscle car.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you're the coolest guy at the
67
open
Chevy.
mic. All the little 18-year-olds be all excited.
Yeah, you
He's got a Chevy.
revving the engine and shit.
You go do a mic, everybody's talking about your Chevy. So I don't know if you've seen Dom's Chevy.
Yeah.
I want one of those
jacket.
Chevys where you got to touch 2 wires together to start it.
Oh, yeah, right.
That'd be the coolest.
Like the Fonz.
I did that with this BMW I had. The switch broke and I took it off. And it was just 2 wires and I just touched them and it worked. And then I touched 2 other wires and it opened, like to open, close.
Oh.
And I honestly felt like I was so brilliant. I'm showing people. They're like, well, yeah, there's 3 wires. Would you think one's a ground, one's open, one's closed?
Right.
I couldn't impress nobody with that.
I would have been impressed.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know how that stuff works.
I kept it going. I'd be with girls. They'd be all nervous.
I'd
touch the wires together.
Nice.
Those were the good old days.
That's how we're going to get some respect in this fucking world.
Yeah, see, now it's not cool. Back then it was cool, but now you want the nice car. You want no problems.
Yeah. Well, at least like a tough guy car.
You're touching wires together, though. Girls aren't going to feel safe nowadays.
That's true, yeah.
They're going to be like, I don't know.
Yeah. Man, I was hanging out with Greg yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He had like his baby with him.
Oh, damn.
I had to go drop off something, so I just met him like in this coffee shop. And he's like, he's being a dad, so he's taking care of his, he's doing dad stuff.
Right.
And he's like taking care of his baby, and he's on his phone with his wife. And he's like texting her. She's like, oh, I got to go home soon. She's dealing with this. And
Right.
he has another kid who's in daycare. So he's like, oh, I got to go pick him up soon.
Wow.
I got to go do this and that. And I walk with him towards his apartment, and he's like, so what are you about to do today? I was like, I got nothing. You know that feeling? It's so weird because you go through regular life. I've been living this dumb lifestyle for so long now.
Yeah.
That you kind of forget what it is what your day actually is, what your life is like.
Right.
You don't realize how free you are until you see somebody who really doesn't have that kind of freedom.
Right.
Where it's just like, I remember we were in Astoria. I got back on the train, and I was riding back on like the N train, and I was like, should I stop here? Should I go home right now?
Right.
Should I get back? It's going to be kind of a long trip if I transfer it and just take the train directly back to Ridgewood. So I'm like, I'll just get out. So I just got out at Times Square and just sort of started walking.
Oh, wow.
And then I got to like I don't know, 33rd Street, and I was about to like, all right, I'm getting kind of tired. Maybe I'll get back on the train. Fuck it, it's nice outside. I'll stop and get a slice of pizza and just keep, I'm just wandering around for hours.
Wow.
But it's just like trying to talk to Greg about that. And it's like, this dude, he hasn't had that kind of freedom in years.
Yeah.
And he's not going to. And so it's like, I'm realizing now, it's like, you got to appreciate these things. As much as I feel like my life isn't really working out the way it should, there are advantages to things not working out.
At least you didn't reproduce.
Not even that. I would love to have kids, but it's like, at least this is kind of nice to be able to just like, yeah, I'll just wander around in circles for a while.
We're actually living in the good old days, One day we're going to look back.
Things could be worse.
Yeah, it could always be worse.
And I mean, even people who are doing good, it's like there is a level of stress that comes with everything that's good. That's like, all right, I'm kind of glad I don't have that kind of stress right now.
Even financially, I don't know what type of... My friends are never financially ready to have babies. I don't even know what type of income you need to have a family, to be honest. But I just think of that. Like, you bought one slice of pizza. Greg would have to buy 5... What? He's got wife, 2 kids, the babysitter maybe. Give the dog a slice, Yeah,
you're never just buying a slice. You always got to get a fucking box.
I went to a play yesterday. This dude brought his whole family out. Kids are all spoiled, yelling over. They wanted a double of wine. It's $30 for a double of wine. The tickets were like $170 a piece. The Book of Mormon. He had him, his wife, his kids' girlfriends, his daughter's boyfriend. Dude, I'm looking. Finally, he goes, I spent almost $3,000. We'll get wine after. Just watch the play. The kid he wanted to drink. And I'm like, dude, this dude had to spend $3,000.
It's not even just the money, too, but it's like, what if that guy didn't even feel like going to a play?
Right, the time.
Yeah, I mean, like you don't get to make that choice. You get outvoted in the family, and it's like, no, we're going to see a Broadway show right now.
Right.
It's like, that guy wanted to watch football.
I guarantee he wanted to hang out in his basement.
He just wants to chill, and then, then you have to spend $3,000. But you also, it's like, you got to get from the car to the place to the parking. Some kid always has to use the bathroom. So now you got to find a bathroom in, Midtown.
They were all dressed nice. They went out to eat before, guaranteed.
Yeah.
You're not going to go to a play. It was a 3-hour play.
Well, then you got to figure out like, oh, what time am I going to get to the restaurant? And we got to eat. How long is it going to take? And we got to do this and that.
Double Ubers.
How much stress? Exactly. Yeah.
I don't eat gluten. I couldn't imagine.
You buy a kid this plate of spaghetti. He's like, this isn't the spaghetti I like.
Yeah, fuck you, Dad.
Right. This isn't. I want the spaghetti they make at home. It's like, we're in New York.
Let's stop and get ice cream.
Yeah.
Well, there goes about $5,000 for four nights out.
Meanwhile, I can get pizza at one place and just like, I'll eat half of it. I'll be like, I'm not really feeling this.
I just did that yesterday.
And it's like, no, I'll stop Whole Foods and get that Korean fried chicken.
I went to Joe's, right? And I'm trying to watch my weight. I go to Joe's. First off, I've been watching way too much of those pizza reviews.
Yeah,
I'm eating pizza every day now. Dude, can't stop
Check
watching.
the undercarriage.
So, dude, I'm going Pizza Joe's, great slice, cheese slice. So I go get it. I'm like, man, this is like the 4th time in a row I just got the cheese slice. I'm like, I got a little extra money, did a couple of shows. I said, let me buy that thick slice was at the Sicilian.
Yep.
I said, let me get that instead. And really, I wanted the Ben's Godfather slice or whatever, or Grandma slice. But I was like, whatever. I'm at Pizza Joe's. So I get halfway through the cheese, buy the Sicilian. It's terrible. I was like, man, I just want a hot cheese again. I'm on the phone. I bought my third slice, dude. I'm like at Joe's, like, I can't believe I spent $15. Got a soda. Stopped even on the way home. Bought some grapes at that expensive place. $7.99. Didn't matter.
Well, I mean, like, it sucks that you spent a little more than you were expecting to, but it's also like, yeah, fuck it, why not?
Imagine you get the kid.
Well, imagine you weren't even in the mood for pizza, and somebody else was like, no, let's stop for pizza.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, I don't want to eat this, but now you're, stuck with somebody for 5 hours.
I really wanted wings from the cellar, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not the bold enough guy to go to a place and eat by myself amongst my peers. Like,
yeah, it's a little awkward.
but some people could pull it off.
I mean, it's not like you're not like afraid, but it is a little awkward.
Yeah.
It would be a weird move.
And it's your
Plus, you can
birthday.
get wings somewhere else too.
Well, yeah, but they're not like the cellar wings. Plus, they got the little chips in there.
Yeah, I guess.
Been doing good on chips, man. Yeah. I don't know, but we got to bust some kids out real soon here. The only time I regret not having kids is around this time of the year because it's income tax time. And I go on Facebook, I see all my friends with all their kids. Dude, income tax time, these guys are buying, like, campers to campsites. Like, they're spending $14,000 on income tax time.
You
Brand
do
new car.
I'm sure, though, if you do the math on that, it's not like you're coming out ahead.
Yeah.
Your tax bill is just getting reduced a little bit.
Right.
But it's not like it's like a moneymaker. It's not like adopting kids or something. That's where you make money.
The way adopting kids. I knew a girl did that. Dude,
Yeah.
she had it down. Did I ever tell you about her?
Yeah.
I dated one of them. Got them all paper routes.
You just buy a big house, 4 bedrooms. You turn to 8.
She had a small house. The kids were even crunched down. So it was a little house. And, dude, I remember the little kid running up the steps to deliver newspapers.
Wow.
Yep, that's how I met her. She delivered a paper to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're kind of nice.
Well,
And
I think these days those same people. This was probably a few years ago, right?
This was 23 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I bet
20
like
years
if
ago.
that same girl now adopted a bunch of kids, they'd all be just making TikTok videos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the deal. All the paper route shit's out.
That's
Now
smart.
it's like, no, you're learning to sing. You play the guitar.
Farm 'em.
You dance.
Yep.
You're the bad one.
I'm
you get
surprised
to be the bad
they
boy.
don't farm them like that. They probably do.
Oh, they do. Absolutely.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. I mean, like if you go to Korea right now, in like South Korea, that's just like how kids operate now.
Imagine being the kid where you have to learn how to teach the people. Like, you do that one part of TikTok, STEM.
Right.
I'd hate to be that kid. He's always got to learn some stuff.
Well, but I mean, that kid is actually learning a real skill.
Right.
You feel bad for the kid who learns how to dance.
Yeah.
All you know how to do is dance.
Yeah.
But
Or
it's
the
like these-
reaction video kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the kid who has to eat the mukbang, where he's eating like 10
imagine being
cheeseburgers.
That kid.
But it's like, yeah, he's got to make a living. But at least a STEM kid, it's like in the future, you could be a scientist or something.
You know what I never understood about all those Asian foods in those videos in South Korea? They all look like dicks that the girls are biting into. Did you ever notice that? I hate to even say it, but they do.
It's just a phallic symbol. Yeah.
What is that?
I think that's just
They're not
that's
eating
your own
dicks, are
internal
they?
balance,
Bro,
internal
oh my
bias.
God.
That's
Bro, I got to tell you something real quick. Sorry, but
Yeah.
this is about eating. Oh, my God, I'm going to be sick thinking about it. I go to the nice Spanish spot by Blink Fitness. You know, nobody really knows English over there. So I'm pointing. I'm thinking it's chicken. I said chicken, rice, and beans. I point to the chicken, pig feet, bro.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you ever fall for that?
I mean, I think I've had it before,
I
yeah.
flipped it over, seen the hoofs, almost threw up, dude.
You didn't eat it?
No.
Oh.
You would've ate
I would have.
that?
You already paid for it at that point, yeah.
Fucking, yeah. And then I was telling people about this. Different price, as always. $14.99.
Yeah.
I'm like, how's it?
The chicken is cheaper. I've noticed that.
Ah,
Chicken is like $8.99.
That's what it
The
is.
beef is like $11.99. Then you went like top shelf.
I thought they were racist.
Oh
Wow,
no, they
pig.
thought you were like, this guy must be. Hey, that's your fucking haircut now.
Yeah.
This
I
dude's got
came
some
in,
money.
too.
Yeah, this dude came in with the rolls.
You know, my barber, I was talking to him, and he always wears hats. And I told him, like, be careful. And he goes, no, I'm going bald, too. When I met him, he's like, I'll do it good. So he's cutting my hair now for about a year. I just seen him in public with no hat on. Dude's got a full head of hair. He's not bald.
Wow.
Bald. What kind of conniving?
Hey, he's just trying to like make you feel better. Though.
Yeah.
He's just making you feel like you're not alone in the world.
Yeah. Now I felt like he did it to be like, you could trust me. My barber don't know English. I gotta show him.
This idea that like a barber can help you not go bald is absurd. That's not his job.
No, he knows how to cut it good.
But that's not even like how hair works.
Oh, bro, I could tell you still got a full head. Now, a good thing with barb, I'm telling you.
This is you convincing yourself that this is a placebo effect.
Nah, there's plenty of guys like me and worse off. I could name them. They travel an hour by train to their barber because their hair is so thin. You know, they do the thing. I know a kid. It's gone, dude. And I don't want to mention no names. You can't really tell. He brushes it forward. He's got a mousse technique with the brush. He takes the kid 40 extra minutes to go out. But I seen him out there in the wind, bro. It's peeled back to here. You never know. He hides it, puts the little angle on it.
You say you'd never know. I think you would know.
I mean, you have a good idea.
You look at
it could be a lot worse.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
He gets it cut in Washington Heights. Dude goes all the way to the Heights. Jeez. Spanish dude.
Get a haircut at 3 a.m.
Yeah, them Spanish people, they could cut our hair good, man.
Yeah.
You got to go to a little Spanish barber, get a fade, dude. That's the new you.
Nah, I'm going $7.
Nah, dude, you got to fade it up.
Nah. I've done it before. I mean,
but the real tight fade where you want to take the camera real slow.
Yeah. My hair just wouldn't do it. Just like mechanically, there's like, well, no, but different like ethnicities just have a different texture of hair.
Yeah, you'd have to.
You've never seen an Asian dude with that kind of haircut, just because it doesn't actually it doesn't track.
You got to get that glue and do a weird design. That's what the Asian people do. Get some Dragon Ball Z shit going. The spikes.
Asian people look good with just like shaved head. That's the original Asian look.
Jet Li style.
Well, it's just like the Chinese farmer look, where it's just like you're in the military almost, where you go straight up buzz cut.
You used to have that, man. You used to look
during
good
the
with
pandemic.
that too, man.
Yeah, look at those pictures. It's not bad, but it's like I don't know. I still prefer a little bit of hair at this point.
You seemed real sleek back then.
Like I was telling you, I always told you about short hair. Once you start losing it, you just cut it short and you look athletic.
Yeah, but my shit's so fucked up.
Nah, you look like Jason Statham.
I cut mine short back in the day, dude. It's peeled back, bro.
Yeah, but that's why you got to get the arms and you got to get the shoulders pumping. It just, it all kind of like it moves the eyes around.
You know what? Yeah, you're right there too. No, you're right. I know a dude.
Yeah, it's like look at The Rock.
Yeah,
you don't think about The Rock as being a bald guy. He is.
I knew a dude with a piece of his nostril was clipped, like he had like an open nostril, and it was definitely noticeable. But the dude had no problem getting girls. He dressed nice. He owned it. Yeah. He talked about it. He got bit by a dog or whatever, but his shit was fucked up looking.
Wow.
And he had girls, man. He had everybody liked him.
Yeah.
Dude had the gold chain with the fake diamonds, all that shit.
It's all about confidence.
He had the Sean John when that was big back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if you just carry yourself in a certain way. The problem, I think, is that like if you actually don't feel confident, then trying to pretend you're confident, I think that could be tough.
When I'm skinny, I feel confident.
Oh, yeah.
Or you could just get a dog, dude. That takes all the attention.
Oh, then you got to have the dog with you all the time, though.
Yeah, show up at the open mic with the dog, though. You'll get up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you go to an open mic, you can get up. That's the definition of an open mic. That's how it works. I don't think that shouldn't be. You got to start having better goals in your life. And
I want to be sleek, man.
Yeah. You cut it short, and you have like the arms popping, and you get like a nice tasteful necklace.
Yeah.
Not like a big one, but like something that like something that's like, oh, this must have some sentimental value for him.
Yeah. No, you're right. I came close to being almost looking good. I remember I had a point in time when I went out one time. I spent like $200 at Kohl's or a discount store.
Yeah.
Remember Burlington? I had them little button ups, man.
Yeah. Well, you used to wear that leather jacket around.
Oh yeah, I did.
Back in the day,
man, you remember that jacket?
That's from the John Wayne video.
Yeah, that was a TJ Maxx leather.
Yeah, I mean, just a good leather jacket, as long as it fits you right. It's like, I think that does really, it brings the outfit together.
A watch.
You don't really got to be doing a whole lot else if you got the leather jacket on. Just a white shirt under it.
I feel
jeans.
like in my mind, I'd almost I'd need some sort of a TV credit, or I'd feel like a poser wearing nice clothes.
Ah,
You know, it's like, what are you dressing
this is
up
like,
nice for?
I mean, this is you're dressing for the job you want, not the job you have. You currently don't have a job. So, but it's like if you put yourself in that position, then the universe will provide. Where it's like, you got to get this guy. This guy's got to move up.
You know exactly what you just said. Somebody told me once on a cruise ship. They said they were doing a show in Roosevelt, Long Island, and there was a 16-year-old kid in a suit. And he said, "Why do you always dress up?" And the kid said, "To get to where you want to go, you got to dress for where you want to be." And that kid was Eddie Murphy.
Oh, that kid could have been anybody. That's some smooth ass shit to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dude told me. He goes, "Yep." And he told me. He goes, he said he's going to be huge.
Oh, Eddie Murphy walks in wearing that red leather jumpsuit. And it's like, no, this is clearly somebody.
It's game over at that point.
Well, it's not like you don't automatically like the guy, but it's like clearly this guy is separate from all these other fucking bus drivers who just walked in.
Yeah.
And it's like you really feel like he must be confident.
Yeah.
He must have something going on.
I know my whole life I'm like, man, when I dress a certain way nice, I feel like I do a little better on stage. Some people say it's in my mind, but when I was thinner in a nice little button up and dress pants, some nice fresh Nikes, I felt like I got the laughs a little easier.
Well, I mean, as much as comedy is writing and thinking and like rhythm and stuff, it is a visual thing. They are looking at you on stage. So it's like, even if they're not judging you or they're like deciding whether to sleep with you, they are like, you are looking at somebody.
Yeah.
So it's like, you got to be able to, it is part of the visual medium. And so it's like, your jokes have to match your outfit. You got to be able to,
I feel like you kind of want the people in the audience a little bit to want to be like, man, look at that, I want to be like that.
Well, they're all looking at you, the lights, especially if you're on like a theater.
Yeah.
You're up high.
Yeah.
That's why you got to wear, Cat Williams is showing up with a white,
fresh.
Yeah, white leather suit.
Yeah.
He's got the gold microphone.
I watched a bunch of that Cat. I mean, I don't know what's the positive that's going to come out of that interview. I guess stirring it up.
Yeah, I mean, he was fucking crushed. I mean, it was like a 3-hour interview. This dude is on fire the entire time.
I know, but I don't know if you could say it was crushing, but because it wasn't like he's trying to be funny, or I don't know.
No, it's you got to watch the whole thing.
All right.
This dude is effortlessly funny. He could have done almost all of it like on stage.
Oh, wow.
Once he just starts talking, he's just the kind of guy where
I
it's
just
like,
seen clips.
This dude is so dialed in that it's like he can just sort of start, and it's always going to be funny.
I was just thinking, what's the point of making all these enemies? Or like,
Hey, it's Cat Williams.
Yeah, I guess.
This dude's on top of the game. Yeah, he can pretty much, call his shots at this point.
Yeah, he don't got to deal with no network shit.
Yeah.
Who'd all he go after? Anybody? I know he went after Kevin Hart. He was like, how'd Kevin Hart at
Steve
the Comedy
Harvey
Store?
and like Kevin Hart.
He got Harvey good.
Cedric.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Blackson. And,
I watched a couple of his TikToks. It's a mystery disease.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. It's so hard because it's like it's when you think about like what it's like to do comedy, and you see somebody like that, and it's like this dude is like it's another level.
Yeah,
where it's like he's bowling with the the bumpers on. Where it's like anything this dude does is going to be great.
Yeah,
and you can't really there's no effort. You can't watch him, and he's not like he's trying to make something funny. It's just always going to come out.
I like what he said, how the cream rises to the top in comedy. You could be ugly and be a star. He's like, none of that matters because comedy makes it fair. Like,
I don't know about that.
Well, I think he mentioned, like, he was mentioning, like, Bernie Mac wasn't what maybe people wanted, but he was the headliner. Like,
yeah, but it's also just like, I think it was Seinfeld said about Bernie Mac was that, like, his look matched his voice.
Yeah.
He looks like what he sounds like.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that is a funny fucking guy. Anything he does, it's just like his eyes. Once he starts bugging out his eyes, it's like, I'm already laughing.
Yeah.
And then he does a really killer joke, and it's like, all right, that's a double.
And even the way he says stuff.
Yeah.
Is funny.
And he's just like kind of shuffling around the stage, and it's
the way he'll say a word. I'll tell you.
And the suit.
Oh,
wearing a big ass suit that's like a little bit too big for him.
Those big suits, man, that is the way to go.
Yeah.
Honestly.
If you really you only got to, I think, how much do you think you got to spend to get like a wardrobe of that? Probably like $4,000.
I bet you they went.
I mean, those dudes
went.
Bro. Yeah. But if you went to one of these like places on Myrtle, you drop like $800, you'd get like 10 suits.
Yeah.
Just like one that's purple and, Get a tan suit.
People used to get in arguments back in the day over who was the funniest on the Kings, and like they'd just be having all these weird facts, like, nah, man, they started in the church, and
Yeah.
this and that, I remember.
It was
man,
Bernie Mac. Come on.
Everybody.
What are we
had
talking
the
about?
Pay-per-view, right?
This isn't even close.
Hands down, without a
Yeah.
doubt.
The other three combined is Bernie Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah. D.L. Hughley. Come on. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, dude, I remember, man, Bernie killing that. We used to quote him too. I
Yeah.
liked, even back then, I did like DL.
Milk and cookies.
Yeah.
Want some milk and cookies?
I seen DL one time on a regular interview at UCB back in the day. I couldn't believe he showed up. I didn't even expect it.
He was doing he had like a CNN TV show for a while.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that was just like, yeah.
They were like,
He's
yeah,
a dude who'll show up.
Yeah, like, we got a special guest appearance. I'm sitting in the front row. It's DL Hughley.
Yeah, weird.
It's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But Cedric's stuff is killer too. They're that old school type of really stretch it out on you,
Yeah. Well, it's like you do like a 10-minute bit.
Right.
Yeah. And he just, that's what Cat Williams got on him about, though. Was that he was saying he stole his joke or something.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Wait, who? Cedric or Steve?
He said Cedric stole one of his jokes from like Comic View back in the day or something.
Oh, shit. You
Then
think
you
it
watch
was
the
true?
joke and it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's not the exact same bit, but it's pretty close.
A lot of people have the same jokes.
Yeah. They're both funny, though. And it's like, you've never, I don't know. Whenever somebody brings up joke theft, it never feels like it's actually a real thing.
It never did. And honestly, that shit died. Now it's like, I'll be honest with you.
As long as they're both being funny, it's like, this is,
I feel like the last time anything happened from joke theft, and the only time, was maybe the Carlos Mencia thing.
Even then, this dude is still working.
Right. I mean, people always try to post the clips of the jokes of Cosby and Mencia, and then who was the other? There was one, and then I always see sometimes like Amy Schumer's sketch show. People would be like, "Oh, she stole the idea from this YouTuber or some shit."
And then the idea, it never actually lines up.
Right.
Yeah. Whenever people say that stuff, it never lines up.
Yeah. I mean, I find storytelling, but I struggled with it a little last night. I had them in the beginning. I did a midnight show, and I was just, I'm trying to come up with new material.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing for me is that I was okay by the audience, but my peers and the host was like, even like, oh, man, that was rough right after I got done. Trying some new material, man. It's fucking hard.
Yeah, it is rough.
You got to go out there and bomb with that shit.
Yeah, that's why you got to have a reputation as a fighter.
Right.
Yeah. This dude fights for a fucking living.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get to go up next.
Yeah. Put him up.
Yeah.
I want to get that heat, dude. We got to get that a little bit to where we walk in and people are whispering. A few comics had it.
Oh, yeah, right. This guy's a rapist.
Yeah.
You heard about him?
Oh, yeah. We definitely know him. This dude right here, he's a part-time clown at kids' birthday parties.
Cover your drink up.
I remember I was so jealous one comic. I was like, what do you do? He's like, I'm a clown at kids' parties. I'm like, man, you got it made. I can't believe. I used to think that would have been a good job.
Wow. Well, that's one of those jobs, I guess, like you could probably make like a sneaky amount of money doing it.
Yeah.
Where you don't, nobody knows it's you.
He was a Dominican kid. It was his dad's business. He was the same age as the kids. They'd all be 13 and 14. And he's like, I didn't know. I just salsa and peeped the horn and stuff.
I mean, it is like it's a very pure form of entertainment.
Yeah.
Where it's like it is a real skill. I think maybe it's one of those things where you feel it's fun to, like getting dressed up. It's fun doing it. But man, that subway ride home's got to be tough.
Oh, yeah.
After you just did some clowning.
And he did it in Chicago.
Oh, man.
I don't know what those subways are even like.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to show up like the clown. Or I think he rode a bicycle there. So that's even worse,
The
to
big
be honest
bicycle?
with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, his father, I guess, would get those calls, and his kids would have to go out and do all those odd jobs.
Oh, wow.
And they'd be like 14. They'd be painting one day. Imagine showing up in the clown suit for the wrong gig.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to paint your bathroom. Sir, can you get the hell out of here?
Yeah. There was like a bunch of comics for a while who were taking like clown classes.
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
that?
in New York. Yeah.
People were learning how to like tumble or something. I remember they were telling me like, oh yeah, we got to go get clowning lessons. I'm like, for fucking what?
They told me that what they did, a big thing that they did in there was they have you do your act, but they'll have you do it as a chicken one time, or they'll have you do it in a girl voice or something like that.
What a rotten business.
I remember I took this acting class, a real full-on acting class, and this dude used to drive from Florida to New York for this acting class, bro.
Wow.
Can you imagine? And he'd stay. It was Tuesdays and Thursdays. He'd stay 3 days. He's like, dude, it's my dream. I'm fucking Union in Florida. My kids are out of the house. And we're doing a scene, and he couldn't get it. She's like, it's not believable, Matt. And, dude, this cat takes a bottle, smashes it in the scene for real.
Oh, wow.
Holds it to his neck to where he starts bleeding a little. And he's like, fuck all this shit. I drove 20 hours. This is a waste. What are you teaching me? For real, dude just snapped in acting class. And the teacher was completely unfazed. She's like, okay, are you finished? Do you need a Band-Aid for your neck? She's like, you're not going to scare me. It was insane.
Wow.
You know.
Stella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People go all in on these classes, dude.
Well, I think if that's the thing is if you've gone that far as to drive from Florida to New York, it's like that entire, it's like probably 16 hours.
You're thinking about how much of a
that
waste
entire,
this is.
not even that, the entire time it's just Rocky 8 Mile music playing in your head.
Yeah.
Where it's like you got to go so hard and everything is like so amped up.
Kids are dependent on it.
Well, there's that, and it's like, you just probably he probably listens to like motivational podcasts or something.
He actually smoked crack. He told us.
Yeah, well,
he's big in Florida, I guess. He goes, yeah, burn a little rock. I fucking go through that drive in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
20 hours union job.
Free basing.
Yep.
Some guys just don't want to pay for a hotel. Yeah, that's what you got to do, I guess.
You gotta smoke a little crack.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you think you're gonna get back to acting classes and stuff?
I mean, I don't know about the classes just because time and finances. One day when the universe has that ready for me, I'll take that. But for right now, I'm creating my own projects, man. I got this one I'm shooting. It's almost wrapped. Wrote another one. Talked to some people that might be interested in filming it.
Yeah.
And then I got this other little, I'm going to do a lot of acting this year on my own merit. I got an idea for a thing I want to do about a detective that's shy, and it's just reoccurring, very fast, easy episodes, like a minute long. And he's, it's just a series. I think that'd be fun, man.
Do you think if somebody gave you like a super dramatic part where you had to be like real serious and like, that like real intense yelling and then crying and shit, do you think you could just pull it off right now, or would it take like
sitting in here and you're like, okay, Samuelson, what, you lost the briefcase? Huh. Well, listen, if you ever want to see Claire again, then you better find the fucking briefcase.
Well, there's that, and it's just like you gotta pretend the scene is like, you get the phone call.
Oh,
so you got to go from like, I'm eating like this great cheeseburger to being like, they're all dead.
Turn it on.
And you got to be like, wait, what?
I can't cry on cue.
Yeah.
I tried it. Had to put onions in my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And you could tell.
But do you think you could actually like have that where you got to go from one thing and just turn the dial to
I think I
like
could.
Dramatic?
Because you got to keep in mind, it's like stand-up, but you get more takes. Stand-up's where it's hard.
But
you
I mean,
fuck up once in stand-up, that's it. You got to roll with it. There ain't no cut.
No, you could also just recover.
I mean, you could recover,
nobody knows the script in stand-up.
You could just hit cut on the camera.
No, but it's like you got to audition, so you got to beat 100 other people for this exact role.
I don't know if I would in the audition.
Do you think you'd actually be able to beat 100 people to do anything?
It would have to be they picked me. The acting I get.
I don't think that's I think that's a tough way to go about acting.
Well, if people see what you are and they see like, oh, Dom is this guy for me acting and all my own stuff, then they'd be like, I got a role that's good for you.
Yeah, well, it's like if you got a
lucid.
Yeah,
like a Denzel type. I seen it happen. Will Smith did it before the Chris Rock smack. Everybody loved him. Upper West Side, and it was some movie that wasn't even American. It was like dubbed in like some other country because I tried finding it. And I talked to some people there, but he's a bite. The whole thing, he's a cyclist. Do you ever see that Will Smith movie?
It's a drama?
Me neither. Yeah, it's like a drama.
Huh.
And he's on a bike all around New York, and he's a cyclist or whatever.
Oh, well.
And so, anyways, he was there though, and he's all taking pictures. He was real nice. Everybody's nice.
Oh, so you saw them filming?
I even got to talk to him. Yeah, he talked to all of us. So it was like it's 10 feet away from us. He's
Wow.
right there. I'm walking a dog, and you know, and I just was like, hey man, I love your stuff. He's like, thanks. I'm like, man, it's so cool. I do comedy. He's like, yeah, man, keep going. You know, make your stuff. You know, create your stuff, man. Make your way. And he's telling other people, he's like, thank you guys. You know, I'm so happy I get to do this. Like, he really turned it on. He's nice, taking pictures.
Wow.
And then they go, okay, Will, we got to do the scene with you coming in with the bike. Get ready. And the bike was like mounted, so it wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
But he was pedaling. And dude, instantly they got the whole street there. They got the camera, and he hops on this bike, switch on. Ah! And dude,
wow.
he's really doing it. Like, dude, intense, sweating. I don't know, can you make yourself sweat? Dude, he was sweating, breathing heavy.
I mean, when you're Will Smith, I bet Jamie Foxx could do it.
Yeah.
In his sleep.
And then he'd break a song out. Riding this bike.
But no, I think like when you see I think the thing though, when people talk about how like what real acting is, the surface level is like, oh, this guy can cry, or this guy can like make his eyes bulge out. But like the vast majority of acting doesn't actually require a really big thing.
Yeah.
It's like making very small decisions.
Right.
Where you just have to hold a certain pose for 15 seconds. But that pose has to go from, you know, sad to like thoughtful to this and that. But it's like you got to be able to convey all that without actually saying anything or doing anything with your face. And that's when it's like you really like know what you're doing.
I like doing the silly, like I did that character to where acting is just him being a character. Like he's like, hey, well, all right, you guys. You
Yeah.
know? And like something like that's fun to me. Like almost Adam Sandler stylish.
Yeah.
Type things, like he had the Water Boy.
Well, now it's like you're doing your own stuff, so you can just sort of do it
right.
at your own pace. But just imagine for that same thing you just filmed, imagine if you had to audition for that, and you had to walk into a room of 100 other guys who were also going for that same part. Just imagine trying to like, you got to hit the line on the spot.
I'll tell you what, the auditions I've been on, as far as to try to get something dramatic, I don't think it could ever happen. And I'm not saying this to make myself sound good. I'm too funny in the audition. Like, I've been on some where they're like, okay, here, you're an ambulance driver. It was a serious role, too. And they're like, you're an ambulance driver. You just showed up on a scene and 3 people are dead, and you met the one this morning. And, dude, I'm with another comic, and they're like, okay, now let's do it again. Now, remember, this is not a funny scene.
Right.
Dude, we were trying our best to be serious.
Wow.
The people are losing it. The camera people are laughing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do a serious role.
Yeah. But even though if it's like, even if it's a comedy role and you're like, they're telling you like you could just be as funny as you can be. Imagine trying to go up against 100 guys who actually train as actors.
Oh, right. And they know the guy. They sent
know
the kid
exactly.
Christmas cards.
Well, they've been auditioning for years.
Right.
So they know this entire process. They can be loose and be in the moment. And you're like in your head, like trying to remember this word and this word.
Right.
And it's like, it seems, I don't know how anybody does it.
I mean, a lot of things nowadays, I feel like they kind of, if you got a good manager that got you in there or whatever, some things are a little greased. You know, they'll be like, take an extra good look at them for this scene where they're cutting up a sandwich. You know, or something like that. I think they kind of want you. But honestly, dude, I'd much rather, I'm loving making my own. If I can make my own shit, that's the way to go.
Yeah, I think everybody wants to, would rather just make their own stuff.
Like Adam Sandler, he makes his own shit. Nobody's auditioning Adam Sandler.
Why can't we just be Adam Sandler?
Well, you could on a small scale.
Yeah, of course.
Remember his first his movie? He had this movie. Like, I look at Billis. One of my friends seen the preview of Billis, and they go, this is stupid. But you got to look back. Go watch Adam Sandler's very first movie. It's hard to find. Did you ever see it? He rented
before
a yacht.
Billy Madison?
Yeah, way before it.
Oh, well.
He rents a yacht for like 6 hours and shot a movie on it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it's called Going Overboard. It was his first movie.
When he was on SNL or before?
I want to say probably right around that time.
He was like young when he was on SNL, right?
Probably right around that time. He was young here.
Oh, wow.
It's called Going Overboard, Billy Madison. It's an 1.5-hour movie. They filmed this shit on like, you know, probably $1,000 camcorder.
Oh, weird.
Or whatever. Maybe it was better. I don't know.
Yeah.
He probably had connections. You know, he went to film school in New York.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like
NYU.
his graduating video, but it was an 1.5-hour movie.
Oh, wow.
If you watch it, you're going to be like, bro, you wouldn't think this dude's getting $300 million a movie.
Right.
But you could make it. I mean, we ain't going to make that much money or have that big of a fan base. But even like, say my hour, you know, I had, 20 people come out to Boston, 26.
Hold on. We got to edit that. No.
Yeah, I'm selling out, actually.
No, yeah.
But no, on a small scale, I could play my movie in a theater and maybe get 20 people to come. Billis?
You gotta think bigger than what you're thinking. This is so crazy.
Baby steps,
Anytime you
man.
talk about anything, though, this is baby steps is one thing. When you realistically, you got to make a plan of your day. You plan your day in baby steps, but you got to think bigger than, oh, I'm going to be the guy who walks into the open mic and they put me on. It's like, this is what are we talking about? You've been doing comedy for like 20 years. This is insane.
I mean, obviously,
this whole thing. I don't buy into any of this like the secret manifestation stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think a lot of that stuff is just people wasting their time. But it's like you gotta have a big goal, and the goal has to be you gotta be working towards a big goal. This idea where it's like, oh, I'm gonna be realistic, or it's like, oh, I just want to make enough to pay my rent and get a nice pair of shoes, and it's like that is. If you think that, you're gonna make a little bit less than that, and it's not gonna work.
Shoot for the stars.
You got not even shoot for the stars, but you got to have an actual vision of a thing that you actually want.
Well, I'll tell you what, my vision's just doing it.
The guy at the open mic. Yeah, of course.
What's the alternative? Not doing it?
Well, the alternative is aiming for 20 people in a fucking room, and it's like that is. I mean, obviously you could do it. I'm not saying you wouldn't be able to do it, but it's like if that's your entire goal, that's all you're gonna get.
Well, you got to accomplish that goal, and then you go next movie. 100 people. You got to start.
No, it's going to take you 10 years to get to 100 people. This is retarded.
Nah, man.
You got to get to. Well, I'm not saying these are all good things to do. Not saying that you don't try to do it.
Well, how else could you do it? What else do I do? Just not put the movie in the theater?
No, I'm talking about mentally. You got to think way beyond this. This shit is like, I mean, this is a given. Right. That you're going to get to 20 people, but it's like you got to have.
Well, you would hope it's a given.
That's because you're just mentally not actually seeing it.
Yeah.
Mentally, we got to be able to get past all this like low level stuff because it's like this is stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, the real thing has to be. I mean, like I'm not saying that you're trying to aim to be Kevin Hart, but it's like we got to think bigger than this. Come on, what are we doing?
Even small. If I go to those film festivals, there's 30 people there. They got 10 movies in it.
That's why this shit is stupid. Like I'm saying, this is a waste of time. Not a waste of time, but this is absolutely not the goal. The goal has to be much bigger than that. You got to have a vision. Well, this idea of like, oh, I got to be humble and I can't think about
what the next. Humble, just realistic.
Not even realistic, but you got to at least see it. Because unless you're actually seeing it, then it's definitely not going to happen. This shit
I am seeing the 20 people.
Exactly. This shit is not the real shit. The actual Adam Sandler shit doesn't happen by accident.
Yeah.
There's no way Adam Sandler was like back in the day. It was like, oh, if I could just get 20 people in a room and make them happy. It's like, no, this dude was ambitious. He saw it happening for himself.
Yeah.
Even if he had to work his way up, and plus Adam Sandler was famous when he was like 21.
I think even 19.
Yeah, this dude and Eddie Murphy, and they were at the comic strip back in the day, and it was like the doors open for him quick.
Right.
And I think those guys even when they were starting out, they already saw themselves as being like, this is going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
Maybe Eddie Murphy didn't see himself selling out MSG, but it's like
I feel like he did.
He was still a big, yeah. I mean, this dude was not trying to become, the open mic king. He was like, you see a vision and you move forward towards it.
Yeah,
but it's like unless you actually have that vision and you're actually working towards it every day, it's like it's not going to happen by accident.
I feel like reality's setting in slightly for me, and I'm starting to get very more down to earth with my goals.
This is tragic. This is a tragedy to hear. I hope people in the comments are, they're tearing you to pieces right now because that's an insane goal to have.
Yeah.
What would Rocky say right now?
Right. He'd be like, it's not about how hard you get hit.
Not even that, but think about Rocky 1. Rocky 1, he goes from working in a meat packing plant to fighting the champion.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to do it. And he loses.
Right.
He loses the first one. But it still works out for him.
More like Rocky.
And then, eventually he gets to Rocky 2 and he wins.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, if Rocky was actually in the beginning, imagine watching Rocky and he's like, they're trying to get him to fight Apollo. And he's like, nah, I'm just going to fight some bum.
Right.
And then eventually maybe, someday if I beat him, then, maybe they'll give me a shot.
Spider Rico.
It's like, no, fuck that. I'm fighting Apollo Creed and I'm going the distance with him.
Yeah.
And I'm getting Adrian.
Yeah.
And Mickey.
Yeah, if only it could be that
easy.
we're
drinking eggs. No, it's not like it's that easy. It wasn't easy for Rocky. He loses. Rocky gets the shit beat out of him.
10 years ago, I seen this movie. Maybe it was even like 12 years ago. It's when I came up here on vacation. Actually, I just found out who Bill Hader was. I think
yeah.
this is like, I don't think he was. Maybe he just got on SNL at this point. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But he used to have these movies that weren't mainstream, and he'd get them at Lincoln movie theater, not Lincoln Center, the huge thing.
Yeah.
There's a little
across the
movie
street.
theater over there.
Yeah.
Where they do like independent films. But I remember people passing out free tickets. Like they're like, here, if you reserve this, you have a seat for the 8:15.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He was like an independent guy before
Yeah.
he was on SNL. Yeah. Even on SNL, he was like the one who started doing like those like short films and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I've always just looked back at that. I'm like, man, this dude fucking did it. That's why with this Billis, I'm really doing it. Billis could be about an hour and 15 minutes, honestly, and it's going to be good.
Yeah. But just think, it's not like Bill Hader was like, oh, this is it.
Right.
I accomplished my dream of playing at Lincoln Center.
Quit afterwards.
Not even that, but it's like it's clearly this is the first step in a
Right.
in a trajectory that I'm sure that dude saw himself on SNL and being whatever else.
Right, and that's back when SNL was a little different. I feel like now, dude, if you had the money, I mean, obviously you'd probably take SNL. All of us would probably do it, but I don't know if I just had like a free money from like say I had some huge YouTube, or if I could just make my own shit, that would be fire. Like imagine if you had a $6,000 budget to make a sketch or something from your own thing.
Right.
But what's the reality of that?
Well, I think SNL, it just comes with a big ass audience.
It seems like the people that always get SNL too are the ones that never wanted it. You talk to them, they'll be like, I
came up.
Yeah, I had to go do this audition.
You get the call.
And you're like, God, I wish I could have it.
Yeah.
And you meet some people, you meet them under wraps. You don't even know they got this whole other thing going on. Like I've talked to comics where they're like, oh yeah, I do warm up for this show, and I live here. I bought a place for $2 million. You're just like, what?
Yeah, right.
How did I never know this about you?
Yeah. That's why you gotta. Yeah, you can. I think that's why you can just start making stuff up about yourself.
Yeah.
When you're talking to people.
I might tell people I do warm up.
Yeah.
I used to do warm up for Frasier.
Oh, just tell people I deal drugs on the side.
Yeah, a little bit of coke.
I do a little bit of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I beat people up sometimes.
Yeah. I'm a bone collector. I'm in the mafia.
Yeah. But I really do think it's like this. We've been taking the wrong approach. That's our problem.
What is the approach?
I mean, of trying to like get wrapped up too much in the small stuff.
Yeah.
I think you really do got to have a vision for like where you actually want to be. Not just like where the bare minimum of what you would accept. But that's because whenever we go into these rooms and we're obviously not getting respected,
right?
And nobody cares about it. But it's like that's because you're too like caught up about what people think at this low level.
Yeah.
When you walk into this bar, bullshit show or something. But it's like if you have that actual vision, then it's like no, there's no way that you're not actually going to let any of that stuff phase you.
I was watching that. You watch Eric Thompson, the hip hop preacher?
Yeah.
You ever come
We talked
across?
about this, yeah.
Well, I just started pumping him back on to get me hype. And, he talks about how back in the day, he's like, he goes, I was making these videos. Nobody was watching then. He's getting serious. Nobody was watching. I still made them. And he's like, making all those videos. Now, when the opportunity came, woo! How Eric gets into it. He's like, your boy was ready.
Yeah.
I was ready. And, he talks about he did it for years and he knew how to look at the camera in the interview and that. And I feel like in a way I'm teaching myself that with acting. In real life, we did that movie, Smoked Salmon. We watched it. I can't act for nothing, but I'm getting better. I'm watching myself. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
I think it's also like, you're not pursuing acting directly. Right. This is more of like you're doing your own side projects and stuff. But it's like if you really wanted to, if acting was the goal, you would be doing acting classes and all this other shit. But
your Smoked Salmon thing, dude. I remember when you guys called action, I was so nervous. I remember
I could tell.
Yeah. It was insane. But now they call action. I'm like, dude, it's just another Tuesday.
Well, that confidence is good, but it's also like if you're actually like move up in the craft of acting. It also takes some like you got self-criticism and
got to get on Broadway.
Yeah.
Do some fences.
But like it is, I guess, acting. It seems like so much of the time it gets kind of like reduced to just like, oh, this is just like a good looking person, or like,
Yeah.
oh, they just wanted the guy with the muscles and he has the look. But it's like when you're actually, like you said with Will Smith, and I've been in when I used to do extra work and everything, when you're actually in a room with somebody who's very good at acting, it is so impressive.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You feel like you like some sort of magical shit is happening.
Right.
When you're seeing somebody who can actually
You
like
do.
like nail their lines, and actually their eyes are doing everything right, and they're not like looking at the camera or looking at this. It's like that's a skill.
Yeah, it is.
Even more so than comedy.
I think the best actors are also good liars. That's the blessing and the curse.
They're good liars, and it's just like they're comfortable with it. They're not. You don't see the effort.
Yeah.
You don't see a guy who's trying to hit his mark and he's worried about what his hand is going to do and his eyebrows or something. It all just flows.
Do another take.
Yeah. But at the same time, too, we've both seen actors who are like having a bad day or something,
Yeah.
where they just can't they can't hit their line.
I hate that.
So it's just cut, reset, go back. And that's even worse than bombing in comedy.
I'll tell you
when
what's it's the when the director's having a bad day too. Then you're like, dude, now your day's ruined.
Yeah.
You're like, they're like, what are you doing? Why can't you do this right?
Yeah.
And you're just like, I said, let's go. You know,
he went that way.
Patriots or yeah.
Yeah.
I've had that, dude. I've had a whole short movie that never even came out. The director's just screaming. Why aren't you doing it how we said do it?
Well, just imagine that. I mean, that crew, but like times 20.
Right.
For like a big feature film, like a
man.
major studio feature film. 100 extras behind you. Everybody's like, oh, we all got to go back.
You know, I'll be honest. We talk about this acting like, oh, it's this skill or that skill. But also, there's a silver lining part about it that we haven't talked about that's true, which is like I've met people that never really acted before. Even like, you know that movie Kids, those weren't actors. Those were just regular people.
Mm-hmm.
But I've met a guy that was on a Showtime show, and he told me, and dude, he was 17, and he moved to New York for the gig. I moved him out. He had to go back home. And he moved here with his older brother who was like 21 because he booked a thing on Showtime.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I've been doing theater at my high school for 6 months. I sent in this submission tape. They auditioned me. I got it. There's that aspect too. I mean, it's very rare, but there's some people that never really acted, and it's just like, boom, you're on this show. That's the thing about acting. It's like they're not all super trained. I mean,
They're not all super trained, but that guy must have been like, he must have crushed that audition.
And he probably fit the role anyway.
He just fit the look, and
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like most acting isn't crying, and it's not like doing a Jamie Foxx backflip.
You gotta fit the look.
It is that. It's also just like, hey, he went that way.
Right.
That's the vast majority of acting is not lead role acting. It's if you watch a movie, 80% of the people have like one line.
And when you're the lead, they want you.
Yeah.
I remember I was at a coffee shop on the Upper West Side. This guy's freaking out. He's like, anything. Get me Goldman. Get me Gary. He wanted Gary Goldman. Right when he did one of his late nights, he's like, we got to get him.
Yeah.
We need him.
But
he
you
didn't
can
have
also
to audition.
Yeah. I mean, you can also make a living as an actor just doing like random shit too.
Cutting up a sandwich.
Yeah. You got to be the guy who's like, 100 people come in. They all say, would you like a water today?
Or even like a Facebook ad. Let me get $60,000 for one of those. Just me being my dumb Dominic Leonelli self.
Well, just imagine too, you get $50,000 and all you do, your audition is just, hey, catch this football.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
And you just walk in that day. Yeah. I mean, like I've done those commercial auditions where it's just like, you walk in to the audition room and it's like 100 people in the waiting room.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, you're next. You come in. The audition takes like 10 seconds. They're just like, pick up this cup and pretend to drink.
Dude.
You're next.
The amount of pressure in some of these waiting rooms that you see, I've seen actors ruin it before they even got to audition, screaming at the receptionist, getting physically thrown out of the place. It's like, bro, there was one thing I got where I just had to say, what are you doing? We don't got the light yet. What are you, stupid? Every cop in the city's looking for us. And everybody had to do that line. My dumb ass, I didn't even look at the camera. They're all way over here. For whatever reason, I looked at the wall where nobody's at. And then they just said, okay, you could go now. And then afterwards, they're like, yeah, you looked at the wall. We could tell you never really acted before. You
Wow.
didn't even look at the person you're speaking to. I was like, yep, I had to learn that. I don't know why I did. Camera's here, the person's here, and
You're trying to make a creative decision.
Yeah. I made a change.
Yeah.
And knowing how to read. When they give you the signs, nobody wants you coming up to them like, what's this word right here? And they're like, exercise.
What is this, French?
Yeah. Are you serious? That's exercise.
Yeah.
And you're just like, all right.
Joie de vivre.
Yeah. Oh, dude, let it be another language.
Yeah.
One girl kept telling me, she goes, picture the most beautiful thing you ever seen. Look off in the distance. And, you got to picture that. It was amazing. The sky.
I remember I was on an audition. They were telling me I got cast. I was like an extra thing.
Oh,
but they were saying like it was like a commercial, but they were going to add all this CGI afterwards.
Yeah.
So they were like, all right, you got to imagine a bus just pulls up. So I'm like, okay. And they're like action. And I'm like, and they're like, cut. And you really got to picture a bus. It's like, I don't know what I see buses. I don't even know what that means. But like, yeah, what they actually wanted was to be like, oh my God, a bus.
Yeah, act like you didn't just see a bus.
Yeah.
It's like, look, I see a bus every day. I seen one over here.
Yeah.
You actually got that one big thing. What was that thing? You were on billboards, remember? Or you had something really big. I remember you telling me. You had something maybe in another country where they paid you well. You had the main role or something.
Oh, it was that. It was just like the thing I did with Dina.
I don't know. There was something where I thought you were on a billboard somewhere.
Billboard, I don't know. When I was in high school, just graduated high school, I was about to go to college, and I got this job for this Japanese like film company or something. Yeah. It was just like a 1-day gig. I didn't know what it was until I got there, and it turned out to be like for like domestic abuse. It was like a PSA for domestic abuse, especially for like the Asian community, because like Asian people don't like discuss these kinds of things.
Yeah.
So we had to raise awareness but I thought it was like we were gonna be like working on the crew, but they were like, I got there. It turns out we were actually in the ad, so I had to like look at the camera all sad and be like, I think it was all like kind of like your face is kind of darkened.
Yeah.
And I had to be like, domestic abuse is real. We need to have a conversation or something like that.
Wow.
And I remember I was so excited. I got like $200 cash.
Yeah.
Me and my friends. But then I moved. So I moved from the Bay Area to LA. I don't see the commercial until like a year later. The commercial starts airing. And apparently it aired like a lot in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And so all my friends thought that I was like getting abused by my parents or something.
Wow.
Yeah, I never even saw the commercial, but everybody kept telling me about it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I acted in some shit. My parents didn't understand it at first. They're like, but that never happened, Dom. You never stole a car. I'm like, yeah, I was acting.
Yeah, you're not a boxer.
They didn't get it. For now, they were like, I just don't.
You never fought Apollo Creed.
Everybody's calling us. They saying on Facebook, you stole a car on video.
Wow.
Oh, man. No, you got something big when I knew you a while ago before the Dina stuff. It was some more Asian. It was some other Asian shit. Remember? You were on billboards or something. I remember you telling me.
This sounds familiar.
I can't remember.
I did
you
so
got
much.
paid like maybe $1,000 or something, and they paid you a lot. You couldn't believe how big of a thing it was.
Oh, I can't remember now.
You did do a lot of that shit, man. You were.
I was in Reader's Digest.
Oh, maybe that was.
That was like my first. No, that was like a one. That was like a $100 gig.
Yeah.
But it was so funny. I didn't know what it was. They just told me it was like casting networks. They were like, just show up. We just need a guy, Asian male, 30 years old or something. So I show up, and they're like, no, you can wear that. You're good. Keep your backpack on. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then they take the picture. They don't even tell me what it is. They just say it's Reader's Digest. You'll get $100. And they just take the picture, and they're like, all right, you can leave. And then like 3 months later, I get the Reader's Digest, and the article is called like, how to identify the next mass shooter. And it's just me, but like my face is all dark.
I did one thing, and it was supposed to be a good thing. It was like an NBC thing, supposedly. I mean, I guess it was, but for the internet. But dude, it was a bunch of people showed up. It was last minute. I found out about it the night before, and they were just like, okay, no, matter of fact, instead of doing what we told you to do, we're gonna have them do it, and you just sit down. And it was this whole thing by Bryant Park, and all I had to say is, wow, this app's so easy. And it was like a 7-hour thing for me to sit down and do that. We did one take, and they're like, that's good. I'm like, were you sure that was good? I didn't even know the camera was rolling.
Wow.
I never even got money from it.
Oh, well.
I don't know what it was about, like a volunteer.
It's funny whenever you're in a position though of like if you're not like experienced as an actor, and so you're not like comfortable being on set with the big crew and people taking directions. There is such like a nervous energy to it, of like, oh, hope I don't fuck this up.
Right.
You get real like in your head about like, oh, I gotta nail this, and they're gonna tell me I gotta do this, this, and this. But it's like you can totally see how all this like sexual assault stuff happens in show business.
Oh yeah,
because all you're doing is following instructions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you get to the set and they're like, oh no, change of plans.
Yeah,
take off your shirt,
put your skirt, put your leg on
the
table.
thing is that like if somebody says that, and somebody says, hey, take off your shirt, your first thought would be like, all right, I guess we're doing this.
Right. You're like, I gotta chase my dreams.
Yeah. But it's just like, this guy's in charge, I gotta do whatever he says. So it's like they'll ask you to do something crazy.
I had an acting coach one time that was pushing the limit. When I first moved here, we learned nothing about acting. He was renting a room for like $50 for an hour. You know, we're all going there and meeting up in this room. Nobody knew this guy. And I don't know how I got duped into this shit. So we go, it was like $300 for Meisner technique. All of us go to this room, we meet, we sign up, we do the thing. And the dude gives us like little scripts, and he's giving us directions. And he tells the girl, okay, I'm going to have you in a skirt tomorrow. This dude planned it.
Wow.
And it was like the hottest girl in class, some girl from Jersey, had her in a skirt. And then in the scene, he goes, okay, do this. Now slam your hand down. Now let's do the scene again. And this time in the middle of the scene, he goes, put your leg up on the desk right in front of him. And she's like, I'm in a skirt. I don't feel comfortable. And he's like, you got to do it. This is acting. And she does it.
Wow.
And then, dude, that night was like the last night of our class. We all go out drinking. And the dude ends up leaving with two girls from the acting thing, getting in a cab with both the girls from the acting, had us buy him dinner. He didn't pay his tab. He ordered all this shit, all these drinks. I never heard from the dude again.
Show business, man.
Show business.
Yep.
He told us all, get you a role. One dude was there. He was arguing with the coach, some guy from Russia. He's like, I just don't see why I would say it like that. And the teacher didn't know what to tell him because he's not even a fucking actor. He's like, well, because you paid me to tell you how to say it. Okay?
See, that's the problem, though. Like I was saying, this is all ties together, is that guy who was teaching that class, that wasn't his goal. At some point, that guy was trying to be a working actor. He had his, he was like, oh, I got to make it in show business. And then at some other point, he got beaten down by the world. And he was just like, no, I'm settling for this. I'm just going to be a scammer guy.
Yep.
And that's how you end up being a scammer.
It's not a bad life.
Well, it is. I mean, like in the long run, that's going to catch up to you. But that point I'm trying to make is nobody plans to be a scammer.
Right.
It just happens that way. And they settle for it because they didn't push past whatever that moment was.
And they don't want to get a real job.
Yeah.
I got scammed twice.
They just want to fuck two women at once.
Same thing with headshots, dude. I remember there was a dude in Times Square passing out his number, dude, on yellow Post-it notes, right? Hey, headshots, if you want a headshot, call me. And I went, and a bunch of us, we all $250 we spent on headshots. Dude, he showed us these pictures of all these great, phenomenal, professional headshots. So we're like, oh, this is great. He knows what he's doing. Bro, he just printed that fucking shit out, had it laminated. He goes, everybody wear a dress shirt, come here tomorrow. 20 minutes, he bangs us all out. White wall, a light, that's all he had. Nikon D5500, same camera I got. I'm like, dude, I got that same camera. He's like, all right, smile, click, $250. We all pay it. The pictures look like shit. And he goes, well, they got and he's gone, by the way. He gives it to us on a flash drive, so he doesn't got to deal with us. He's like, go get them printed out. I get mine printed. They look like shit. And I hit him up like, dude, what the fuck? He goes, oh, it's another $250 for me to edit them.
Wow.
I didn't do it. I just said, fuck it. I was like, I ain't getting. But he had about 20 people.
See, I mean, this is a callback to the very beginning now. Imagine if that guy thought you were a fighter.
Right.
Imagine if you walked in where it's like, hey, if this doesn't work out, I'm gonna uppercut you in the jaw, and you're yeah. Now take a picture.